Resistance-based movement communicates directly with the body's deepest survival systems. When muscles are asked to work against load, even modest load, they interpret this as a signal that strength is still required. This message reaches far beyond the muscle fibers themselves. It influences bone cells, hormonal pathways, and metabolic processes that determine how quickly tissues repair or decay. Aging muscles are not inactive by default. They are responsive, waiting for instruction, and resistance exercise provides that instruction with clarity. At the cellular level, resistance movement stimulates protein synthesis, the process by which muscles rebuild and maintain their structure. With age, this process becomes less efficient, not because it disappears, but because it requires stronger signaling. Resistance provides that signal by creating controlled stress that activates repair mechanisms. Muscle fibers respond by reinforcing their internal scaffolding, improving their ability to generate force and resist fatigue. This preservation of strength supports daily function and protects against the gradual loss of independence often associated with aging. Bones respond in parallel. When muscles pull against bone during resistance exercise, bone cells detect this mechanical load and respond by maintaining density and structural integrity. This interaction slows bone loss and supports skeletal resilience. Rather than treating muscle and bone as separate systems, resistance exercise reveals them as partners in a shared biological dialogue that adapts to demand. Hormonal responses further amplify these effects. Resistance movement influences the release and sensitivity of hormones involved in growth, repair, and metabolism. It helps preserve insulin sensitivity, supports balanced cortisol levels, and promotes hormonal environments that favor maintenance over breakdown. These shifts are subtle but cumulative, shaping how the body allocates resources over time. Metabolically, muscle tissue acts as a reservoir for glucose and amino acids. Maintaining muscle mass through resistance exercise improves blood sugar regulation and reduces metabolic strain. This stabilization lowers chronic inflammation, which is a major driver of accelerated aging. By preserving muscle, the body preserves metabolic flexibility, allowing it to adapt to stress rather than becoming overwhelmed by it. There is also a neurological dimension to resistance movement. Engaging muscles against resistance requires precise motor control and coordination. This keeps motor neurons active and preserves the pathways that connect intention to action. As these pathways remain engaged, reaction time and movement quality improve, reinforcing confidence and reducing hesitation. Perhaps most importantly, resistance exercise restores a sense of agency within the body. It counters the narrative that aging is purely a process of loss. Each repetition affirms capability, reminding cells and systems that effort is still expected. The body responds to this expectation by maintaining strength rather than surrendering it. Through consistent resistance-based movement, aging shifts from a passive experience to an active collaboration between biology and behavior. Muscles, bones, and hormones respond not with resistance to time, but with adaptation, allowing strength to remain a defining feature of the body's relationship with age, rather than a memory of its past. Balance and coordination exercises engage the nervous system in a way few other movements can. They require the brain to interpret sensory information, predict outcomes, and adjust the body in real time. This constant exchange strengthens neural pathways that often weaken with age due to underuse rather than irreversible decline. When balance is challenged intentionally, the brain is reminded that precision, adaptability, and awareness are still essential for survival. The body relies on three main systems to maintain balance: vision, inner ear function, and proprioception, the sense of where the body is in space. Coordination exercises stimulate all three simultaneously. Standing on one leg, Shifting weight slowly or changing direction requires these systems to cooperate. With regular practice, the brain becomes more efficient at integrating these signals, reducing delays and errors in movement responses. Aging often introduces caution into movement. Steps become shorter, movements stiffer, and reactions slower. While caution may feel protective, it can actually weaken neural responsiveness. Balance training reverses this by safely reintroducing controlled instability. The nervous system learns to respond rather than freeze, preserving reaction time and fluidity. This adaptability is crucial for preventing falls and maintaining confidence in movement. The brain benefits significantly from these exercises. Regions responsible for motor planning, attention, and spatial awareness become more active during balance tasks. This stimulation supports neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize and form new connections. Even later in life, neural circuits remain capable of refinement when given meaningful challenges. Balance exercises provide these challenges in a form that is both accessible and impactful. Coordination also influences posture. Maintaining balance requires subtle engagement of core and lower body muscles, aligning the spine and distributing load evenly. Over time, this improves postural awareness and reduces compensatory tension. Improved posture enhances breathing efficiency and circulation, further supporting brain and body health. There is a psychological dimension to balance training as well. Successfully navigating instability builds trust in the body's ability to adapt. This trust reduces fear of falling, which is a significant contributor to movement avoidance. As confidence grows, individuals are more likely to remain active, reinforcing the benefits of training and supporting overall vitality. Balance and coordination exercises create a loop of reinforcement. Neural pathways sharpen, movement quality improves, confidence increases, and activity levels rise. This loop counters the gradual narrowing of movement that often accompanies aging. Rather than becoming more rigid, the body remains responsive and adaptable. Through consistent balance training, aging becomes less about losing control and more about refining it. The nervous system stays engaged, the brain remains curious, and the body continues to negotiate its relationship with gravity and space. In this ongoing dialogue, balance is not merely maintained, but continuously relearned, allowing neural adaptability to remain a living, active force within the aging body. Rhythmic cardiovascular movement creates a steady, repeating signal that the body interprets as a call for sustained energy and coordination. Walking, cycling, swimming, and similar activities engage large muscle groups in a predictable pattern, allowing the heart, lungs, and muscles to work in synchrony. This rhythm is not just mechanical, it carries biological meaning. It tells cells that endurance matters, that energy must be produced efficiently, and that systems must cooperate over time rather than in short bursts. At the center of this adaptation are the mitochondria, the small structures within cells responsible for generating energy. With age, mitochondrial function often declines, leading to fatigue, slower recovery, and increased inflammation. Rhythmic cardiovascular exercise stimulates the creation of new mitochondria and improves the efficiency of existing ones. As these energy systems become more effective, cells produce energy with less waste, reducing oxidative stress that accelerates aging. Improved mitochondrial efficiency affects nearly every tissue in the body. Muscles gain endurance, allowing movement to feel easier and more sustainable. The heart becomes stronger and more efficient, pumping blood with less effort. Oxygen delivery improves, supporting brain function and cognitive clarity. This widespread effect explains why consistent cardiovascular movement often leads to improved vitality rather than exhaustion. Inflammation is another key process influenced by rhythmic movement.
Chronic, low-grade inflammation is a hallmark of aging and contributes to many age-related conditions. Cardiovascular exercise modulates inflammatory pathways by encouraging the release of anti-inflammatory molecules while reducing pro-inflammatory signals. This shift creates a cellular environment more conducive to repair and maintenance. Rhythmic movement also supports vascular health. Repeated increases in blood flow improve the flexibility of blood vessels, allowing them to respond more effectively to changes in demand. This adaptability reduces strain on the cardiovascular system and supports stable blood pressure. Improved circulation ensures that nutrients and oxygen reach tissues efficiently, while metabolic waste is cleared promptly. The brain responds positively to sustained cardiovascular activity. Increased blood flow enhances oxygen and glucose delivery, supporting neural metabolism. Exercise-induced growth factors promote neural health and plasticity, helping preserve memory, attention, and processing speed. The rhythmic nature of the movement further engages brain regions involved in timing and coordination, reinforcing neural integration. There is an emotional dimension to rhythmic exercise as well. The predictability of movement creates a calming effect on the nervous system, reducing stress and promoting emotional balance. This reduction in stress supports hormonal regulation and further lowers inflammation, reinforcing the benefits of physical activity. Over time, rhythmic cardiovascular movement reshapes how the body experiences effort. Tasks that once felt draining become manageable, and endurance increases without excessive strain. The body learns to pace itself, distributing energy efficiently rather than expending it impulsively. Through regular rhythmic movement, the aging process is gently influenced at its energetic core. Mitochondria become more resilient, inflammation recedes, and endurance supports both physical and mental vitality. The body moves not in opposition to time, but in steady dialogue with it, sustaining energy and adaptability through motion that honors the rhythm of life itself. Flexibility and controlled mobility preserve the quiet architecture that allows the body to move without friction. Beneath visible muscles lie connective tissues, fascia, tendons, and joint capsules that determine how freely motion can occur. With age, these tissues tend to lose elasticity, not suddenly, but gradually, as movement becomes more repetitive and limited. Gentle mobility exercises restore variability, reminding tissues that they are designed to lengthen, rotate, and adapt rather than stiffen into fixed patterns. Joint health depends less on stillness than on intelligent motion. Joints receive nourishment through movement, as synovial fluid circulates and delivers nutrients to cartilage. When joints are rarely taken through their natural ranges, this circulation slows and stiffness increases. Controlled mobility exercises encourage fluid exchange, maintaining joint surfaces and reducing discomfort. This process supports longevity not by forcing range, but by respecting it. Connective tissue responds to consistent, low-intensity stretching by reorganizing its fibers. Instead of becoming brittle, it regains pliability, allowing forces to distribute evenly across joints and muscles. This redistribution reduces strain and lowers the risk of injury during daily activities. Movements such as slow rotations, gentle reaches, and deliberate transitions between positions train tissues to cooperate rather than resist. Flexibility also influences posture. Tight tissues pull the body into compensatory shapes that increase tension and limit breathing efficiency. Mobility exercises gradually restore alignment, allowing the spine, hips, and shoulders to stack more naturally. As posture improves, energy expenditure decreases, making movement less taxing. Breathing deepens, circulation improves, and the nervous system receives signals of safety and balance. There is an important neurological aspect to mobility work. Slow, controlled movements enhance body awareness, sharpening proprioception and refining motor control. The brain learns to sense subtle changes in joint position and muscle tension, improving coordination and reducing unnecessary effort. This awareness supports graceful movement and reduces the risk of sudden strain. Flexibility is often misunderstood as an aesthetic goal, but its deeper value lies in adaptability. A flexible body adjusts more easily to unexpected demands, whether stepping off a curb, reaching for support, or changing direction. This adaptability is essential for maintaining independence as environments and physical capacities change. Emotionally, mobility practices encourage patience and attentiveness. They shift the focus from performance to sensation, fostering a respectful relationship with the body. This mindset reduces the urge to force movement and instead promotes cooperation. Over time, this approach builds trust, allowing the body to move with ease rather than apprehension. As tissues regain elasticity, movement becomes smoother and more expressive. Pain decreases, not because it is ignored, but because underlying restrictions are gently addressed. The body no longer braces against itself, conserving energy and supporting resilience. Through flexibility and controlled mobility, aging tissues are reminded of their original purpose: to move fluidly, respond intelligently, and adapt continuously. This reminder preserves not only joint health, but the freedom to inhabit the body fully, allowing movement to remain a source of comfort, confidence, and quiet strength as time continues its steady passage.
Breath-guided mindful movement reaches into the deepest regulatory systems of the body, influencing how stress, recovery, and repair are managed over time. Breathing is one of the few physiological processes that bridges conscious control and automatic function. When movement is synchronized with slow, deliberate breathing, it sends a powerful signal to the nervous system that the environment is safe. This signal shifts the body out of constant vigilance and into a state where healing processes can occur more efficiently. Chronic stress accelerates aging at the cellular level. Elevated stress hormones interfere with immune function, disrupt sleep, and increase inflammation. Mindful movement counters this pattern by calming the stress response and restoring balance within the autonomic nervous system. As breathing slows and deepens, heart rate variability improves, indicating a healthier balance between activation and recovery. This balance allows tissues to repair rather than remain locked in a defensive state. The cellular impact of reduced stress is significant. Lower cortisol levels create conditions that support DNA repair, protein synthesis, and mitochondrial efficiency. Cells function more coherently when they are not constantly responding to perceived threats. Breath-guided movement cultivates this coherence by integrating physical motion with internal awareness, aligning the body's mechanical and biochemical rhythms. Attention plays a critical role in this process. When movement is performed with awareness, sensory feedback becomes clearer and motor control improves. The brain remains engaged without becoming overstimulated. This focused state supports neuroplasticity, reinforcing pathways that coordinate movement, emotion, and cognition. Over time, this integration enhances both mental clarity and physical stability. Mindful movement also influences inflammatory pathways. Stress-related inflammation diminishes as the nervous system relaxes, reducing strain on tissues and organs. This reduction supports joint health, cardiovascular function, and immune resilience. The body shifts from managing damage to maintaining equilibrium.
There is a profound emotional dimension to breath-guided exercise. It encourages presence rather than distraction, allowing individuals to reconnect with their bodies in a non-judgmental way. This reconnection fosters compassion toward physical limitations while reinforcing the belief that improvement is possible. Emotional resilience grows as the body experiences movement as supportive rather than demanding. Sleep quality often improves as a result of mindful movement practices. A calmer nervous system transitions more easily into rest, allowing deeper and more restorative sleep cycles. Quality sleep further supports hormonal regulation, tissue repair, and cognitive health, amplifying the benefits of exercise. As breath and movement become coordinated, efficiency increases. Muscles work with less tension, joints move with greater ease, and energy is conserved. This efficiency reduces fatigue and supports sustainable activity, making regular movement more accessible and enjoyable. Through breath-guided, mindful movement, the body is reminded that strength and recovery are not opposing forces, but complementary processes. Aging slows not through resistance alone, but through harmony between effort and rest, intention and sensation, allowing the body to repair itself with greater precision and maintain resilience as time continues to move forward.